together, getting it together. I need a button that goes live in 3 places at the same time, but I don't have one. Thanks for joining us. I am so glad that you're here. I'm a little late because I thought maybe I could figure out how Instagram TV worked before we started. Guess what? I can't. So I'm just on Instagram Live, which I don't think is the same thing. So glad you're here to listen to me talk about the things I don't know about. Welcome to Online Steps to Success. You have found us. It's Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Central Time. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Alice Velke, and we here at Online Steps to Success go live every single Tuesday night to encourage you to dream bigger dreams, work smarter, not harder, to make more money and to change the world. So that is our mission, and that's what we're here to do. Hi, Instagram. It's good to see y'all. And Tiffany's over on YouTube. Good to see you too. It is weird. Look at you watching from Instagram. You never watch from Instagram. It's kind of weird, but I like it. I like it until I drop y'all. Hold on. Just got awkward because not only did I drop them, not only did I drop y'all, I pushed the rest of them down right into my cleavage. You know, you just never know what you're going to get. You never know. It's live, people. Live. I don't know why I keep doing it live, because I could just do it not live, and then I wouldn't have to worry about dumb things like that. But no, okay, I'm not going to touch you guys anymore. How about that? So I'm glad you're here. My name is Allison Dalkey. If I didn't already say that, I'm excited about what we have to talk about tonight. Super, super, super excited. I actually have a lot to talk about. The main thing we're going to talk about, our main content for tonight, is coaching your team to success. I have done it wrong. I have done it very wrong. I've done it okay-ish, and I have done it well. And we're going to talk about all those things tonight. So hopefully you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. Hold on. Instagram's really bothering me. There's something in the way. Yep. Hold on. It's not that it's bothering me. It's that I'm just looking at you. Hi, Courtney. I'm working on it. All right, y'all. You have so much grace for me. It's amazing. I'm really glad you're here. We have a lot to talk about, so we are going to get busy. So I know that we have all kinds of friends joining us tonight because I've heard through the grapevine about some friends joining us, and I'm glad that you guys are all here. So hold on, I'm getting a hug.
Oh, my baby.
Your babies.
Okay. My baby.
Yeah, Daddy's gonna go get him.
Okay.
I love you. Got a kiss? No kisses?
Kisses? You don't want to give mom a kiss?
No kisses.
No kiss.
Mwah, 2 kisses.
Say bye, friends. Say bye.
Hi, Nicole from New Mexico. What I was going to say is now would be the time to share with your friends in this boring time when you're like, would you just get on with it? This would be the time to share with your friends, with your teammates, let them know what we're doing tonight. We have a lot to talk about. Okay. So last week we talked about finishing the year 90 days strong. We got a little inspiration from Rachel Hollis, and we decided we were going to finish strong. And not only were we going to finish strong, but we were going to create a community around which to do that. And we did that. We created a community called the Fight Club, and there is a link, I think, on all these things. There is somewhere that you can join our Fight Club. It's completely free, and it's just a community of people all, I heard a crash, fighting to finish the year stronger than they started. We talked about 9 different areas of our lives, not just our business, but all parts of our lives. And in that little community, we have tons and tons of resources, and it's growing every single day. Actually, on Friday's going to become our sharing day. Friday, we're going to be sharing podcasts centered around all different areas of life. And so I think it's going to be a fantastic resource for you guys. So if you haven't checked it out, be sure to check it out. And I'll repost the link again. There is an app. We are using an app called Mighty Networks, and it's pretty cool. So you can go check it out. Thanks for noticing my hair, Courtney. I totally just curled it for y'all, but then I have my jammies on, like sweatpants and a tank top, and I already had a shower. But I curled my hair for you. I kind of curled it really for my husband because he's leaving town, but whatever. That was TMI, wasn't it? All right, now moving on. So that's Fight Club. It's happening. You can join at any time. There's 84 days left in the year and still time for you to finish the year stronger. We are talking about everything from health, faith, finances, your business, your marriage, Can I remember them all? Your community, your relationships with your friends. There's 2 more. Can't do it. It's under pressure. I don't know. But anyway, so we're talking about all areas of life, and it's a really cool community. So, what else? Last weekend, we hosted a dream retreat at our house for couples doing business together. And I'm going to tell you what, it was freaking fantastic. Not because of anything I did, because I really tried to control the thing. And I kept thinking, this is not exactly what I planned. But I don't know how to describe it except for it was everything I wanted it to be, and like 1,000 times more than I ever could imagine. So the 3 couples that were here, oh my gosh. Oh, what a crazy experience and a beautiful experience we had. So to Raylan and Lane and Amanda and Daniel and John and Janae, we are forever tied and bonded. And it was such a cool weekend. And so many of you have messaged and asked, when are you doing it again? We are doing it again in November, but that is already full. And after that, I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. So we're just going to do our best to kind of follow God's prompting. It was really kind of something bigger than us. So it was super cool. And thanks to everybody who's cheering us on. I got a lot of texts about, hey, looked amazing. So glad y'all are doing what you're doing, and we appreciate that. So before we start, I do want to talk about something incredibly serious for all of you. You're running your own business. You're in a position of leadership, or if you're not, you're about to be, because you're going to build a team. But I want to talk about something that's so important, and I need you to listen to me. And this is the part I need your team to hear. Like, I need everybody to listen and listen well. Here's the thing. If you are so wrapped up and worried about what somebody else is going to think about you, you are not going to make it in this business. It's just not going to happen. There is no way to be successful. Here's what's crazy about direct sales. You have the potential to make exponential income. You have the potential to make really, really, really great money. You have the potential to build a team, bless other people's lives. It's not just about selling a product. It is about so much more than that. Do I want you to love your product? Yes. But do I want you to more love the opportunity that this business creates? Yes, that's what I want you to love. Y'all, it's about so much more than you. And when you are so wrapped up in worrying about what other people are going to think, you have to get over yourself. You cannot impact the world. You cannot impact other women's lives. You cannot do anything significant when you are so concerned with what people are going to think. Here's the deal. By doing this well, some people may unfollow you. Some people may decide this is not for them. That's fine. That's okay. If they don't want to support somebody in business who is working to become successful, to change their life and their kids' lives and their future, they're not your people anyways. And I firmly believe that when you do the work that you are supposed to be doing, when you share this product, this opportunity, when you do all those things, that is when you find your people. When you keep getting scared, when you keep backing out, when you keep letting fear talk you out of significance, that's what stalls you out. That's what keeps you from being influential. That's what keeps you from selling. That's what keeps you from building a team. All of those things. You have got to stop worrying about what other people think, and you got to get over yourself. Period. You have got to. Like, your business is not going to grow. Your influence is not going to grow. Your paycheck is not going to grow if you cannot get over yourself. Stop worrying about what they think. You were made for something fantastic, for something great, for a different life than maybe what you imagined. Did any of us get into direct sales on purpose? Not hardly anybody. I mean, yes, we may have made the decision to sign up, but I just don't know anyone, like not a single person who got out of high school and thought, I am going to make thousands and millions of dollars in direct sales. No, people don't think that. You didn't think it. Nobody thinks that. The number of women that I know killing this business, crushing it, raking it in, if you want to talk money, it's uncountable. And not only that, but they've been given an influence and a voice and have incredible potential to change the world. They are changing the world. I'm watching them do it. It's unbelievable. And you can be that person too. But it's not going to happen by you running scared. And it's not going to happen by you worried constantly about what someone's going to think. Guess what? You are going to turn people away. You will. And that's okay. Now, here's the thing. I am not telling you to be pushy. I'm not telling you to be salesy. I'm not telling you any of that. But also, I am asking you to ask for a sale. I am asking you to educate your consumers. I am asking you to do all of those things that it takes to run a business. But you are capable of such greatness, but you are going to have to step into it. That was very specifically for one person, by the way, but I think it probably talked to a lot more than just one of you, but it was for one of you very specifically. She probably doesn't know it. And Nick, just send it to her. Okay, you can just clip that part out and just send it to her. Here's the other thing, and this is what I want you to think about when you're thinking about sharing your opportunity with people. Remember how I said earlier that you probably didn't graduate high school thinking I'm going to make all my money in direct sales. No, we don't think that. Nobody thinks that. Guess what? Your next recruit didn't think that either. Why are we so scared to share something that's been a blessing in our lives? Has this business been a blessing to you? If you're watching, if you're growing, if you're pressing into it, my guess is yes. So why are you so scared to allow that blessing to reach somebody else's hands? You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be at all. But some of you are. I don't know precisely what it is. It's mostly that you're afraid of what someone's going to think, which is total crap. Like, you've got to stop being worried about what people are going to think about you. Some will, some won't. So what? Move on. But do not withhold this opportunity because you're making a decision for somebody else. So what I mean by that is when you think you may be at a party or an event, or you might be, heck, you might be at a barbecue, I don't know, and you see somebody and you think, gosh, she would be so good at this. She's personable, she's smart, whatever. She'd be so good at this. She's a businesswoman, she's intelligent, she'd be great at this. Instead of making an assumption that is probably false and saying to yourself, she wouldn't want to do this. She's already successful, or she has too much on her plate, or when you do that, you are making a decision for somebody else. You're not even giving them the chance to make the decision. So I want to challenge you today. This is not even what we're going to talk about. This is just what's coming out because I feel pretty daggone passionate about it, obviously, right? I want to challenge you. If you were watching this right now, I need you to approach somebody in the next 48 hours about joining your team. I had not planned on doing this. We're all going to do it. I'm going to do it too. You have 48 hours to approach somebody about joining your team, because you're going to stop making assumptions for other people. You're going to stop making other people's decisions for them. And you are going to offer up an opportunity to change somebody's life. What can you make in this business? Whatever you want. 50 extra bucks a month? Sure. Easy. Breezy. 500 extra bucks a month? Yes, we absolutely can do that. 1,000? Yes. Whatever somebody wants to make, and let's just talk exponential of that. On and on and on and on and on. I got my paycheck today and had a conversation with my sister-in-law, who used to be a full-time nurse, Jacqueline Roy, because she's amazing. Quit her job, being a full-time nurse, to do Scentsy full-time. And she got her paycheck and she said, I'm going to make in 2 months what I used to make in a whole year as a nurse. Yeah, real deal. I just made more in a month than I used to make in a whole year teaching school, which teaching school, that's a shame in this video. When you keep your mind worried about what someone's going to think about you, whether it's for a sale, a product that you are passionate about that could potentially bless somebody, or whether it's for the opportunity for them to join your team, to potentially change the future of their life, the trajectory of where it's going, stop making decisions for people. Let them make their own decision. Tell them how it's blessed you. Tell them about the love that you have for it. Talk about the resources that you have to help them build a team. And let them make their own decisions. And also, no doesn't always mean no. Sometimes no just means not right now. There are more times than I can count when I planted a seed, when I said something like that, like, I'd love to have you on my team. I've been thinking about you. I don't know why. You would be great at this. You're so talented. You're so smart. I think you could kill this. I know you love the product. Let's just give it a try, right? You have 48 hours. That is my challenge to you. Before we get on to what we were going to talk about, you have 48 hours to invite somebody to join your team. You game? You down? Give me like a hand raise or a love, something. Kelly said, I did tonight. That is fantastic. I'm so proud of you. You didn't even know I was going to do that, and you already asked somebody to join your team. So Kelly, that one doesn't count. You have to ask somebody else. Look, Lisa said she left her RN job in August. What? Come on, it's possible. Yes, Lisa, you're gonna have to fight for it. You're gonna have to keep fighting. I will say sometimes the hardest push is when you quit your full-time job and you've had the income of a full-time job plus your paycheck, and then you have to transition into no full-time job income and just your paycheck. Even if you're making the same, you're like, oh, I've been having trouble. Okay, it's time. The challenge has been extended. Now, do you want to get onto what we're actually going to talk about? Diana raised her hand. She said, I'm doing it. Okay, let's do it. Casey says she's in. If you did it already today, it doesn't count. I'm saying 48 hours from now, you have to do it again within the next 48 hours. Y'all are awesome if you already did it, but I'm just saying that doesn't count. Doesn't count. I have to do it again. Okay, let's talk about what we came here to talk about. I called you here tonight to talk about coaching. So we're going to talk about coaching. That all started on a tangent that just like a message I need to tell one person, and I'm still going to have to shoot her that video and tell directly to her anyways, but still, now you all have it. Okay. Oh, you all have it. Okay. Let's talk about coaching. So when I say the word coaching, what I mean is if you are in this business and you have at least one team member, you need to be coaching. So let's talk about what that looks like. And if you don't have any team members, you need to take notes for when you get your new team member 48 hours from now when you've asked. Okay, cool, fantastic. So what is coaching? It sounds scary, and it's not at all scary. And I'm going to make it not scary tonight, and I'm going to make it super doable for you and hopefully take away your fears about what you think that is. So one of the reasons I think coaching is so important in direct sales in general is that this business is hard because you don't ever have to do it, right? Like things happen, life happens. It's kind of the first thing to get pushed aside. It's kind of the first thing that you let slide. It's the first thing that we forget to prioritize, right? And it's understandable. You don't have a boss. I mean, there's all the beautiful things like you don't have a boss, you have complete flexibility, all these fantastic things. However, it also means there's zero accountability. And this is the number one reason why people don't make it in direct sales. They have no accountability and they don't know how to work for themselves. So as a sponsor, as someone who has invited somebody to join your team, it is your role and should be your desire to help coach them so they want to stay. What is a coach? It's just built-in accountability. It's a built-in cheerleader. It's built-in accountability. You tell them when to show up for practice. You challenge them to do new things. They know they're going to have to report to you. That's really all that coaching is. So I'm going to tell you how I did this so wrong. Years ago, I knew that I needed to make my team members and the relationship I have with them a priority. So I offered this to everybody that I had personally signed up, and I said, hey, I want to take you to lunch. Sometimes we'd go get our nails done. We'd go grab coffee. We'd do all the things. And I loved doing it. Like, it was my favorite. And I went to lunch with so many people. Diana Dawkins, I can order anything for her at any restaurant. She likes chicken strips, and she likes, like if you go to Panera, she just wants a sandwich with cheese and deli meat. Nothing else. Nothing else. She doesn't eat vegetables. I mean, I could order for her any place that we went. One of my other sweet friends, Megan, who just had a great baby that we're all praying for, baby Eden. If you want to shoot a prayer for baby Eden, you sure can. Anyways, I used to be able to order for Megan too. I knew which salad she liked because we went to lunch once a month and it was fantastic. But the problem with that is I am only one person. And I did this for years. I did it for years. And I loved that part of my job. But it was not replicable. So this is what I do full time. So I could spend a day or every single lunch on days that I was working with people. But that's not very practical for a lot of people. Most of you are working another job. You're a full-time mama. You're doing other things. And that's the beauty of direct sales, and that's understandable. But what I was modeling wasn't it wasn't replicable. I was trying to tell people to do it, but they're like, I mean, I just can't. Like, can't meet with all the people that I sign up every month for lunch. And long term, it became very taxing on me, and it really hurt my business, my personal business, because I was spending so much time on everybody else's business and on encouraging everybody else. Now, this is not to say I don't want you encouraging everybody else. I want you to. I'm about to tell you that I've learned how to do it smarter. So there's reasons that I know it works. Donetta is a fantastic example. Donetta is one of my frontline. I signed her up. We went to church together, and my husband is really probably the one who recruited her, and he just said, I think you should do this. You'd be good at it. She had been a homeschooling mama all through while her kids were growing up. Her kids were graduating, and she was talking about, do I go back to school? Do I go back to try to get a job, or what do I do? And she loved Scentsy, and so she signed up. So we started doing this. We would go to lunch every month, and here's the beauty of coaching. When we'd sit down, I'd just say, what's going on? How are you doing? And she would get to tell me the things she was struggling with. So one of the things, and we'll get to this in a minute, I'm going to give you the very practical how-tos of how do we coach and how do we do it effectively. But I want to tell you why it works. So as her journey is moving on, right, she's telling me, well, it works great, or everything's going great. Doing, sales are coming well. We start talking about recruiting, building a team, all the things. And she's doing really good. She's doing lots of events. No, she was doing home parties at first. Anyways, she was doing a lot of home parties. And then all of a sudden she hit a wall. Like every single person you get to sign up will. They will all hit a wall. And because you've probably hit 15 walls. There are a lot of walls in this business. And one of the things we need to talk a lot about is the walls are okay. The walls don't mean quit. The walls mean find another way. You go up, you go down, you go around, you break through it, whatever. There are lots of walls. But if you don't have somebody to tell you that's really close to you, or that's asking all the time, that's when people fall off. And they don't, usually people don't make a dramatic decision to leave. Usually it's a very slow, I call it the slow fade. They're slowly fading out because they just slowly stop engaging because they've hit a wall and they don't know what to do about it. So this happened with Donetta. She hits a wall. And she said, I don't know what to do. I've been doing home parties. I can't get any home parties booked. And I said, well, it's time to find another way. And because at the time I had 6 or 7 years experience, I had hit the walls and had to find all the ways. And so we talk about some other ideas. We brainstorm some things. And one of the things I really like to do in coaching is really focus on people's strengths. I am not I'm not a challenge kind of person, because I don't like to be challenged. Well, that sounds really, really bad. I want to take all that back. Rewind, edit this out. If no editing, it's like, what I mean is I don't mind being challenged, and we all need to be challenged for sure. but I don't really like it when somebody tells me what to do. And I don't really like doing things outside of my comfort zone. So here's the thing. If I try to push somebody to do something completely out of their comfort zone that's in a business that they don't have to stay in, they may not stay. So one of the things I really think is important is that you learn how to play on someone's strengths. So when you think about, you have a consultant that's trying to build up a business, we need things to be consistent in their business. They need sales. They need to be building their list. They need to be building a team. They need to be constantly meeting people, right? Those are all the like basic aspects of direct sales. And I kind of forgot what I was going to say because I was thinking about how I was thirsty. Dadgummit. Sometimes I'm like, lately, I'm like, I should just really record these. And y'all wouldn't be able to laugh at me. Babe, if you're watching this, get me a drink whenever you're done doing whatever you're doing. And if you're not watching it, oops. Here in the sofa. Nothing. Okay, I know what I was talking about. So they need to be doing all those things consistently. And if we're asking them to do those things consistently, I want systems placed around those things that are built on their strengths. Everybody has different strengths. If you know me at all, if you've watched for any amount of time, you know I'm not talking to strangers. Don't ask me to do it. It's not going to happen. If that's like the challenge for me to stay in the company, I'm out. Like, I'm just out. I don't care how big the dream is. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk to strangers. It's just, I'm a strong introvert and I don't like small talk. And I would rather have a deep and meaningful conversation with you. I want you to be vulnerable. I want to be vulnerable. That's how I want to roll. So I need to make sure that when I'm figuring out how I'm going to build my list, how I'm going to meet new people, that I'm focusing on the strength I have of being vulnerable, of being able to connect with people, but not talk to strangers all the time. And that's okay. And it's okay with your team members. I think sometimes some of you have been so like force-fed that you have to get outside your comfort zone, that when things get hard, that's what you do. But when things get hard, the last thing you want to do is push somebody out of their comfort zone. It's better if you will help them identify their strengths. What's really interesting is sometimes people have a really hard time identifying their strengths. So let's say Donetta, for example, she was somebody that I coached one-on-one for a long time. Always booked parties, always had parties, and all of a sudden, no parties, nothing's working. So we talk a lot about a lot of stuff. What are you saying? What's the wording? Why do you think you're having trouble rebooking? All the things. And we come down to, we need to try something different. It's time to expand and do something different, try something else. But Donette is very much like me. The last thing I'm going to tell her is, you probably should go to Target and just talk to the people in line when you're checking out. I mean, I wouldn't do it. It's not going to work for me. But what I can do is walk her through her strengths. She is so smart. She is really organized. So the first thing I think of is fundraisers would be a great thing for her. Like, she could rock some fundraisers. What about events? She'd never done an event. And I think she looked at me and said, how do I book an event? And I was like, I don't really do that many events. So let's look it up. Here's the thing you need to know about coaching. Number one tip. And number one thing you need to understand, you do not need to have all the answers. But you need to be willing to go and find them, or help people find them, right? So you need to have some knowledge of what you're going to ask somebody to do and the willingness to go search for an answer. So I've done like 5 events ever. And I'm just not the best at them. They're not my strong suit. Like, you know, a place that you set up where people walk in and talk to you that are strangers, not a strong suit. So, and it's okay. I'm fine with it. But I didn't really know much about it. But I said, well, let's figure it out. I had good friends that had done lots of events. So we sourced out people. I said, how do you get events? Like, what do we do? And she worked her hiney off booking events. And I'll tell you what, her business is different today because of that conversation. Now, I'm not saying that I gave her this great idea that she never would have had on her own. She could have figured it out. But what most likely would have maybe happened is that she would have hit the wall and just slowly faded. Because that's what happens over and over again. If you are having trouble with retention, if you are having trouble keeping people on your team, this right here is your next step. coaching. Okay, now you heard me talk about like lunch and coffee with people. You're all thinking, I do not have time. Amen. I don't either. So for all of you who sat in my presentation at family reunion years ago, when I gave you coffee cups and we talked about how glorious it was to have one-on-ones, I'm sorry that that's what I taught you. It's not bad, but there's a smarter way. And we're here to help you work smarter and make more money. Time is money. So how do we do this smarter? Now, thanks to my friend Tracy Casey, I am doing 20-minute coaching calls. 20 minutes. Not that long. You can get a ton accomplished in 20 minutes. So much accomplished in 20 minutes. I'm going to give you an outline in just a second. Now, the other thing, who would I offer these to? You can offer these to anybody on your team. So even if you are not a director, you're not at a leadership level, to me, if you are, as you're building your team, you need to have communication with everybody that you sign up. You are their sponsor. You are the person they signed up under. There needs to be open communication. Set the expectation from the moment somebody joins your team. This is what we do. We do coaching calls. Here's how you sign up. Here's the times I'm available. Now, mistakes not to make. Do not just ask somebody, when do you want to have a coaching call? You have opened Pandora's box. Just close it and walk away. Here's my biggest suggestion to you. You look at your calendar. As a leader, as a team leader, you are somebody building a team, you're coaching, you want to invest in your team members, right? You want to help them build businesses. You look at your calendar and you block schedule. Now, remember in high school when you you go to English for an hour and you have 5 minutes in the hallway, to hopefully maybe see your boyfriend and get something out of your locker, right? And then you go to math for an hour and whatever. Block scheduling. Right? So your chunks of time devoted to one thing. You need to be doing the same thing in your business. The way you block schedule for coaching calls is you decide, hey, here's one night a week that I'm willing to give up for my team for some one-on-one time. After the kids go to bed, or we've communicated well with our spouses, hey, I really need one night or whatever. Maybe it's an early morning that works well for you, that you know some of your team members, that'll work well for them too. Maybe it's in the middle of the day. I do coaching calls one time a week. Well, that's sort of a lie. Once a week, and then 2 nights a month, I do it. That's like an additional. So really 2 weeks out of the month, I'm doing it twice a week. Most of them I do during the day. I catch a lot of people on their lunch breaks. And here's the trick. It's if you have a larger team or you have several people that you want to coach and provide some accountability to, opening it up and saying whenever you want to is just a nightmare. It's going to take a ton of time texting back and forth. I use a free app called Calendly. Ready? Spell it out. Calendly. Somebody type that in the comments. Calendly.com. It is free. It's free. And what you do, it's going to take you 30-ish minutes to set it up initially, because what you have to do is set up the kind of calls you have. I think it automates for like a 30-minute call, a 60-minute call. I went in and changed mine. There's a 20-minute call. It's the only thing I offer. And I do 2 months of schedule at a time, where I block out, I have from 12 to 2:30, however many, once a week. And then I do a couple evenings a month. And my link is the same, calendly.com/my name, but don't go sign up, because those are just for my team. But you can go look, if you want to go look. If you're not on my team, or one of my leaders, I'll just kick you out. But you can go look and see how it's laid out. It's totally free. But then what happens is you get to just send that an email or put it on your team page, or communicate, send it via text to your team or whatever. Say, here's the dates that I have available for coaching calls. They're just 20 minutes. The other cool thing is it lets you ask questions to them. So I have questions that I ask beforehand. What did you work on since our last call? Who are your potential hosts right now? Or what do you have on the calendar? And then it says something like, what opportunities do you have available to you right now? So basically asking them to think about their business before we get on the phone. What obstacles are you facing? What do you want to accomplish in this call? Anything like that. Okay. So there, it's pre-questionnaire. Also, you should just go to the link and look so I don't have to explain all this to you. It's calendly.com/Allison Dalkey, but do not sign up. I will just kick you out. Okay. Unless you're my team or one of my leaders. But you could see every question I ask. You can see how it lines up for my available dates. It also says, this is the call. You have to call me. So they have to call me at the appointed time. The cool thing too is Calendly sends them a 10-minute reminder. So 10 minutes before it's their time, it just automatically sends them a reminder through Google Calendar. It's amazing. I don't know. It's just, I don't know how it's free, but it is. But I love it. So that's how you get through the scheduling nightmare of it. If you have a larger team, or even if you have a handful of people that you want to start doing this with, it can be kind of crazy logistical to get it set up. So 20-minute calls, figure out something to use. I would just suggest Calendly. It works and it's free. Then what do you say when you get on the phone? So they're going to call you. You're going to know they're calling because you have your time set up. You can see who's signed up for your calls. You're going to answer the phone. Hey, how's it going? What's going on? I do a very brief how's life, like kind of question, but they also know it's only 20 minutes. And they also know that I have backed somebody up behind them at exactly the 30-minute mark. I have a 10-minute buffer. I usually always go 25 minutes. No matter how hard I try, our calls are always like 25 minutes. A very quick, hey, how are you? How's life? Because I need to know how life is. If things are going on, I need to know what's going on, right? How can I coach you appropriately if I don't know what's going on with your life? And then I talk about two things. I ask them two questions, three if you include, hey, how's life, right? Hey, how's life going? Two questions. What are you struggling with right now the most in your business? So they give me the struggles. And they also know like that I'm just not, you can't give me your excuses. So I'm fully aware that you're going to have struggles in your business. Great. We all do. But let's talk about them without whining. And I don't want your excuses. So if your struggle is an excuse, I will just call you out. If it's actually a struggle, which you will have, we want to talk about it and work through it. So hey, what are you struggling with? Well, I'm really struggling with sales right now, or I'm struggling with meeting new people or getting new contacts, or I'm struggling with time management, or I'm struggling with what to do on my social pages. Like I feel like I'm failing miserably, right? Because Facebook keeps changing the algorithms, whatever. So we talk about what they're struggling with. Here is the key. Do not let your fear as a sponsor or as a leader keep you from starting these calls because you're afraid you won't have an answer. It's okay if you don't know the answer to something. So if they say, I'm struggling with this, and you say, well, I'm not really sure what to do about that. That's okay, but you have to be willing to go find the answer and you have to follow up. But the thing is, most of this business is a conversation and one that just takes a few new ideas. And if you've been doing this longer than somebody else, you probably have a few more ideas than them. So you're really just there to troubleshoot and bounce ideas off them. Do you want them to walk away with a solution to their struggle? Yes, absolutely. That should be your goal. But also don't feel like you have to answer it then, because you may not have it immediately. And that's okay. After I ask them what they're struggling with and we work through that, and I offer them some solutions, I then ask them, what are you really doing well right now in your business? And they'll tell me, you know what? I'm really doing good on like host coaching. I'm like doing a good job coaching my hosts, or I'm really excited about this. Sometimes I'll ask them what they're excited about, what you're doing well, whatever. One of the two questions. And before we get off the phone, so I've asked them 3 questions at this point. How is life? What are you struggling with in your business? And what are you just like killing, or what are you excited about? And then before we get off the phone, I challenge them with something. So before our next call, and the challenge is always associated with whatever the struggle is. I need you to do this one thing or these 2 things or whatever would be appropriate for that struggle and the solution that you guys have discovered. For instance, let's say somebody who's really struggling meeting new people. I would say, have you tried a fundraiser? Let's maybe go out and talk to some organizations that you feel strongly about or that you have natural connections with. present our fundraiser program. If they say, I've never done race fundraiser, awesome. I'm so excited for you to learn how to do one. Here are the different kinds of fundraisers you can do. Here's how it works briefly. And I would never like flat out tell them everything. I would say, go to YouTube and watch this video, go watch this, go look up this, whatever, right? We want to make sure that we're empowering our teams to do good work, okay? So my challenge at the end of that conversation might sound something like, before we talk again, I want you to have contacted and presented the fundraising opportunity to 5 different organizations or 3 different organizations, whatever you think. You could even do something like, within the next 48 hours, I'd love for you to shoot me an email of just a list of places you've brainstormed, or shoot it to me in text, whatever. So that they are walking away with a challenge. Your job as a coach, to cheer them on, to praise them for the good things they're doing, but also to challenge them to go to the next step. When they hit the wall, when they're struggling, when it's really hard, to lift that weight one more time, tell them they're stronger than they think they are. Thank you, Pure Barre. And help them move forward, okay? So, I mean, that's a coaching call. Then I offer it to my team and my leaders. So, as you're getting started, if you're not yet in a leadership position, this is something that you should probably do with your people that you sign up directly. So your frontline, the people that they are signed up directly underneath you. Offer it to them, set it as an expectation. Hey, here's what we do. Because here's the thing, coaching works for any level of business. So even if they've just joined as a hobbyist, or if they've just joined to make X amount of dollars every month, and they kind of know that's what they want, this still works for that. It's a great way for you to troubleshoot. It's a great way to stay connected. You just set the expectation early on. But it works especially well if they want to build a business and they want to take this to the next level. What else was I going to say? Oh, I let my team members pick. We can talk every other week. We can talk every month. Or some of my leaders, we talk every other month. They don't need me as much, but they need a little bit of the accountability to know someone's going to check on them and ask them how they are. So that's helpful. So this is how we do coaching smarter. This is how you stay connected. And honestly, the biggest thing is, this is how you keep your thumb on the pulse, or your finger on the pulse, whatever the term is. It's how you stay super connected. It's so much different than a conversation you're going to have on your team page. It's so much different than a conversation that you're going to have via text, because you're opening this dialogue, you're providing accountability, you're helping them troubleshoot, and then you're challenging them when they get off the phone. Here's what you need to do next. Offering them next steps. Here's what is very next for you. Okay, we have a couple minutes for questions. Anybody have questions? Oh, I just feel like I talked so much. Virginia said, these are the questions we ask ourselves as a family at dinner, and then we talk about it and set goals to improve. I love it, and I can't believe I didn't think to do it with my team. It's super simple. I think sometimes we get overwhelmed with the thought of coaching, or we think that we have to be something different than what we are. It's really not that. It's pretty simple. But it is such a great way to stay connected, and it doesn't have to be long. And especially when your team knows it's going to be 20 minutes, like, it makes a huge difference. All right, let's see what questions y'all have. Karen, you almost got Calendly right, but not quite. C-A-L-E-N-D, Calendly.com. Calendly.com. I'm going to put it over here too. Calendly.com. That's what I use for my scheduling. I'm sure there's other scheduling things, but this one's free and I know that it works. And I love that they can answer the questions beforehand. It's pretty cool. Okay. Do you still do all that as a STAR consultant, or wait until you're a director? Louise, that's a great question. I would definitely do that as a STAR consultant for the people that you sign up. So when you sign somebody up, you are their person. Yes, you should have a director, and you should have someone in a leadership position helping you work through all that, but you don't always. And you are eventually going to be that person. And so you want to make sure that you're developing really strong relationships with the team members that you sign up specifically. And you want to set that as an expectation moving forward for everybody on your team. So when, let's say, Louise, you're a STAR consultant and you're going to start doing that for all your new team members, or anybody that's already on your team would be a great thing. And then on top of that, as they sign people up, that's the expectation you set for them, that they work one-on-one with their team members. Here's what you've got to think about long-term, and I see a lot of leaders make this mistake. They want to be the leader all the time, and they forget that they're trying to build a really big empire, and eventually they need other people who are leading. And this is one of the ways you build up leaders, is by helping them coach their own frontline. Are they all going to do it? No. But the ones that want to and are willing, encourage them in that and equip them in that and help them do that and make that step as a leader before they are even in a leadership position. Because if you're going to do this well and you're going to make a lot of money doing it and you're going to build significant business, you're going to have to build up leaders, not followers. That's what you want. You want other leaders underneath you. Edna says, if you have an existing team that you haven't set the expectation with, how do you get them on board for this? Great question, and it is a challenge. I will tell you that. Now, you have anybody that is wanting to build a business should be raising their hand, signing up, saying, yes, I want that from you. It's going to be harder, Edna, to get your hobbyists to get on board with it necessarily, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine. You may not be able to get everybody on board with that you haven't done this like up to this point with, and that's fine. But you still try, and you keep offering it, and you keep saying, here's what we're doing, and you keep raising the bar and raising the expectation. Because the reality is we will rise to wherever the bar is set. If it's low, that's as far as we're going to go. Why would we need to go higher than that? But if we raise the bar, then you'll watch your team members rise to meet it. We are so often scared and think that putting the bar lower is going to be better, but it's not, because when the bar is lower, everybody just shoots for lower. Why don't we shoot for higher? So they may not all be on board, and that's okay. And here's the thing. Here's the best thing that I have found in leadership. Being honest and being authentic is the best way to go always. Getting on and saying, hey, I just learned this new thing. I think it would be really great for us. I would love for, everybody that wants to join it, sign up for a coaching call. Here's when I'm available, whatever. And just keep saying it over and over again, and then keep talking about it. And maybe you only have one person that signs up initially, but that one person, that's probably your next leader. That's probably your next world changer. That's probably going to be your greatest recruiter and your best asset. So you pour into them. You don't get discouraged when not everybody joins. That's okay. Oh, I'll just say this will make you feel really good. My team right now has 300 people on it. My team. My group has 8,000. My team has 300. And out of those 300, I have 15 on my coaching call schedule regularly. 15 out of 300. I don't know what that percentage is. It's low. Do the math. And 12 to 15 probably, actually, when I think about it. I haven't actually counted. I'm just guessing. It's low. So if you have a team of 20, if you have one, I don't know if that's the same percentage. I have zero clue. But that's probably about right. It's probably close. I don't know. I mean, shoot for more always. You want to add to it, because that's just the more people that are going to be engaged and held accountable. But don't beat yourself up. All right. That was a very long answer to your question, Edna, but I hope it helped. How many teammates before you start a team page? This is a great question. And this is something I'm pretty passionate about. Amanda, fantastic question. I don't think you need a team page until you're a director, until you're in like the official leadership position, whatever that looks like. But I think you need to be in communication with your team before that. So maybe that means text or email or something like that. But I think you need to be in communication with them before. It's also a conversation I think you need to have with your leader. Some leaders are going to be fantastic and want you to start one wherever you're at. Do it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's only going to benefit everybody. But don't start one just to start one. And don't start one if you don't have anything to say. It's really nice to sit under somebody's leadership. But if you don't have any leadership, by all means, start one. But if you have someone doing the work, do the work while you're building up your team, while you're learning how to coach, while you're learning how to lead. And watch and take notes. And you don't have to love it all, but you can learn from somebody else, the good and the bad. And then, honestly, as soon as you make director or you make that leadership position, I think you should have your own community, whatever that looks like. I don't have a team Facebook page because I don't love groups. I just don't. I'm not a Facebook group lover. They're very distracting to me. I use an app called Band that I've talked about a lot on here. It is essentially a group without the news feed, without the distraction, without the thing. There's just too many times that I have gotten onto Facebook to check a group, and 45 minutes later, I'm like watching funny cat videos. I don't know. It's not productive to me. I'm also not incredibly concerned with your team being ridiculously active on your group page. I don't think that always means profit. And I think you should be mindful of what you put there. If I have people constantly on a group page or team page or whatever, does that mean they're outworking your business? Probably not. So just something to think about. I don't know if that was an answer to your question or not. Cindy says, do you post it on your team page, or how do you get people to sign up for calls? Yes, I did post it on my team. Like I said, I use an app called Band, but I also text it to the people that I really wanted to work with, so my leaders and my frontline that are really growing that I see potential in. So the ones I really want that investment, like to invest in, I text it to them as well and say, hey, I really want to chat with you. And I keep pushing into them over and over again. What do you do when someone joins your team but doesn't respond? Should I keep trying to communicate? Yeah, I would keep communicating. You always keep communicating. That's part of your responsibility as a sponsor. But don't get your feelings hurt if they don't respond to you. Sometimes people just steal kits, and that's okay. But you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence as a sponsor.
Due diligence?
I am so thirsty.
Yeah, fix it.
A drink. This is my husband, Brian, for those of you that are joining for the first time.
What's up, guys? The time's almost up.
It is. Kelsey says, Laura Godwin, the fabulous Laura Godwin, says to expect 10% of your people to participate. That's probably pretty accurate. I mean, it might even be high. What is 15, if I have 300 people on my team, well, if 15 of them are participating in something, what's that percentage? 5%. So see, I think 10% is high.
But it depends on
a lot of things.
how old your team
Yes,
is.
my team is very old.
Not meaning the age of the people in the team.
No, but my team is a decade old. So I have some people who have been in for 10 years who are hobbyists. And the longer you're in, the more hobbyists you get.
Bonus points.
Yeah, we have all the kinds
over
of
time,
people.
it just happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think newer teams, the percentages should be higher because, right? I mean, don't you think?
Yes.
Like if you signed up a year ago and your team is 8 people, well, 5% of that is less than one person. So,
Jerry, thanks, 5%. I'm behind. Oh, Kelly loves your glasses.
Thank you.
Does they look sexy?
I'm going on a hunting trip tomorrow, and I'm going to be gone for a week. So that's why I'm wearing them, because she likes them.
Virginia says, maybe a whole other video, but I'd love to hear more on other ways to run your business and support your team without using Facebook as often. Absolutely. I'm a huge advocate for it. Like, not that I don't, there's benefit to it, Janae. Yes, there is benefit to Facebook. It's a double-edged sword, though. And I think there's really effective ways you can communicate with your team without having them in a group on Facebook. So maybe that is a good topic we can talk about. Carla, I'm so glad you decided not to quit. You know what? Not everybody has a great sponsor. Not everybody has somebody fantastic above them, but you can do this on your own. So I'm so glad you're here. Rachel, sorry you've had a rough day. Jerry says, bring home the meat. Bring home the meat.
I always bring him the meat.
I hope this was helpful to you guys. I hope that you are already in your little brains planning your,
Little brains?
I don't know why I said little brains. I'm so thirsty.
I'll take it.
Thank you. But I can't think anymore. In your big, beautiful, brilliant brains that you're already thinking about how you're going to do coaching calls and how you're going to set them up, and you're looking at your calendar. I'm going to show you one more tip before we go, before I let you go. So I'm going to just show you. This is a little, maybe too much information. Yes, I'm a paper planner person. If you didn't know it, you know it now. Literally what I do is, there's a camera on. You see these orange highlighted spots? These are all coaching call times. So when I say I block times out, I go through and I look at my calendar for 2 months at a time. I block all my times out. I already have all the way through November scheduled for coaching calls. That way my team can get scheduled, I can get scheduled, and I put it all on them. Once you're signed up, you have to call me. Don't forget, because my time is valuable. Oh, the last thing I want to tell you as a tip. I do not take notes during these. Now, I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad
You know
idea.
what?
I don't take notes during a coaching call.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking I was saying, what are you thinking I was saying?
I mean, you're a note taker,
Yeah,
so I just didn't catch that.
but I don't take notes during coaching calls. For one, I have found that I can usually really remember pretty easily what somebody was struggling with. You may want to take notes, but I use that time when I know I'm having coaching calls to do one of the two things. I will run errands because I could talk to people while I'm on the phone. And I'm here, don't get me wrong, I am fully like vested, but I'm also doing something that doesn't need my mind. So I won't like go grocery shopping. That's too much work. That's a lot of thought process. But if I need to make a delivery or I need to, do something like that, pick up a prescription, I'll know that in that time frame I'll be on the phone, I can run errands. The other thing I will do during that time is clean my house or organize my office, because I know I have this chunk of time that I can't be creating something. So I can't be writing an email, I can't be sending a text to my team, but I can be listening and offering support while I'm doing something with my hands. So it's just something to think about, and it's one of the ways that I plan my week. So I know that tomorrow I have coaching calls from 12 to 2:30. And I know that I will use that time to clean up the mess that is my office, or I'll label bars. Actually, that's what I'll be doing, is labeling bars tomorrow, because I have boxes of them coming. I'll label bars, so things like that. So use your time really wisely and use it to your advantage. Does that make sense? Okay. That's all I have for tonight. Thanks for joining us. I hope that you have a fantastic week. We'll be back next week, as always, at 8 o'clock Central Time to chat with you about something I'm sure that I'm excited about or that I've just learned. And I hope that you will join us on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, wherever you want to. So until then, talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
It takes me a minute to end them all. And yes, I really mean it. And